Mind-blowing discoveries in the Amazon forest that shock scientists. The Amazon rainforest is the world's most biodiverse region. It is undoubtedly the world's largest jungle, spanning 1.4 billion acres over 9 countries. It is one of the world's greatest carbon sinks and a key conservation priority worldwide. But this is just the factual thing that we have been knowing till now. There is something more hidden underneath which is terrifying, and we can't even imagine. So, are you ready for the most terrifying discoveries made by the scientists in the Amazon forests? Stay tuned to our video on the Earth mysteries. Despite the fact that the Amazon is one of the last big wildernesses on the globe, urban myths have been circulating for generations claiming that lost towns lie deep within the Amazon's woods. The legendary city of gold known as El Dorado led a large number of Spanish explorers far off the beaten path, and some of these adventurers were never seen again. Percy Fawcett, a British adventurer who lived in the 20th century, was one of the last people to seek what he believed to be the lost city of Z. He disappeared into the woods and appended his own unfinished chapter to a story that had its beginning 600 years before. Now the story has taken an unexpected turn, as researchers have made the startling discovery that there were in fact ancient towns located in the Amazon. Even if it is still quite difficult to locate urban ruins in dense woodlands located in remote areas, the game has been changed thanks to an important technological advancement. Scientists have found that certain mysterious mounds in the southwestern region of the Amazon basin were previously the location of ancient urban populations. They found that beginning approximately 1,500 years ago, ancient Amazonians built and lived in densely populated centers that featured earthen pyramids that were 22 meters tall and were encircled by kilometers of elevated roadways. The mapping of the terrain from the air using remote sensing technology allowed them to discover this information. Archaeologist Heiko Primmers, a member of the team and an archaeologist at the German Archaeological Institute, which has its headquarters in Berlin, describes the complexity of these communities as mind-blowing. An archaeologist working at the Pompeu Fabra University in Barcelona, Spain, named Jonas Gregorio de Souza, stated that this is the first unequivocal proof that there were urban societies in this section of the Amazon basin. The findings of this study contribute to the growing body of evidence demonstrating that the Amazon, which was previously believed to have been an unspoiled wilderness before the arrival of Europeans, was actually the home of technologically adept societies much earlier than that. This finding was reported in Nature on May 25th of this year. Since around 10,000 years ago, people have been living in the Amazon basin, which is a massive river drainage system that is approximately the same size as the continental United States. Before the entrance of Europeans in the 16th century, researchers believed that all Amazonians lived in small nomadic tribes that had very little influence on the environment around them. And despite the fact that early European travelers described the area as being dotted with towns and villages, subsequent explorers were unable to locate these locations. By the turn of the 20th century, archaeologists had not been able to confirm the rumors, and they argued that the Amazon's nutrient-poor soil was unable to support large-scale agriculture, and that this would have prevented tropical civilizations, similar to those that can be found in Central America and Southeast Asia, from emerging in the Amazon. However, during the 2000s, there was a shift occurring in the consensus on archaeological findings. Some researchers hypothesized that the presence of unusually high numbers of domesticated plants, in addition to regions of unusually nutrient-rich soil that could have been generated by people, might be an indication that ancient Amazonians did, in fact, modify their environment. The concept gained traction when, in 2018, archaeologists reported that in the southern Amazon rainforest hundreds of enormous geometric mounds had been uncovered as a result of deforestation. Although indirect evidence of settlements was scarce, these structures provided a hint that ancient organized cultures were capable of surviving in one spot for years at a time. Primmers began his investigation of a group of mounds in the Bolivian portion of the Amazon basin in the year 1999. These mounds are located outside of the dense rainforest. There, a number of tree-covered mounds may be seen rising over a lowland region that is subject to flooding during the wet season. Previous excavations had shown that these so-called forest islands included remnants of human settlement. such as the skeletons of members of the enigmatic Kasserad culture, which first appeared about the year 500 AD. Premers and his colleagues were conducting an excavation when they came across something that appeared to be a wall. This discovery provided evidence that a permanent community had previously been located in the area. In addition to burials and platforms, the researchers discovered additional signs that pointed to a sophisticated culture. However, because of the extensive foliage, it was difficult for them to survey the area using the more traditional ways. So, what is hidden underneath? In the 2010s, archaeologists began to make widespread use of a method known as LiDAR, which is a form of remote sensing technology that creates a three-dimensional image of the ground below by utilizing lasers in a scanning motion. In 2012, a LiDAR survey of a valley in Honduras was one of the contributing factors that led to the uncovering of an ancient pre-Columbian city that had been rumored to exist in the region. Since the settlement was deserted in the 14th century, the surrounding jungle had entirely taken control of the area, making it nearly impossible to spot from the air without the use of LiDAR. In 2019, Premers and his colleagues made use of LiDAR by flying a helicopter fitted with the technology over 6 places that were close to sites that were known to have been populated by the Kasseradi people. LiDAR revealed the size and shape of 26 towns, including 11 that the researchers hadn't been looking for. A huge effort that would have taken conventional methods 350 years to survey. According to Premers, the team received more than it bargained for when LiDAR revealed the size and shape of these settlements. 2 of the urban centers spanned an area that was each greater than 100 hectares, which is equivalent to 3 times the size of Vatican City. The LiDAR photos showed walled enclosures that had large terraces that were elevated to a height of 6 meters above the ground. At one end of the terraces stood earthen pyramids in the shape of conical towers. It is likely that people lived in the areas surrounding the terraces and traveled along the causeways that linked the various sites together. According to Premers, we have this idea of Amazonia as a green desert. However, in light of the fact that civilizations have arisen and flourished in other tropical regions, he asks, why shouldn't anything similar to that occur here? But the mysteries remain still. After 900 years, nobody really knows why these settlements were deserted. Therefore, it remains a mystery. According to the findings of radiocarbon dating, the Kasserad went extinct about the year 1400. Premers notes that LiDAR photos revealed reservoirs within the villages, which may suggest that this region of the world was not always moist, an environmental change that may have compelled humans to relocate. The myth that indigenous peoples of the Amazon basin were merely passive residents prior to the arrival of Europeans is disproved by these discoveries as well. According to Neves, the individuals who lived there altered the landscape in an irreversible way. That's all for the video. Feel free to let us know what you think about this video. We will be back with more such fascinating discoveries. All you have to do is press that like button and don't forget to subscribe.